Check, check. Quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
I hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay. Welcome back to Holiday Markets.
Welcome to Holiday Markets. Welcome to all of our buzzer beaters to At the Buzzer. Welcome back, Coach Paul. Good to have you back on At the Buzzer. Good to have you here. Welcome to At the Buzzer, the market recap. Goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Coach Jay, Topstep performance coach, been one for going on 2.5 years now, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experiences, some wisdom, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You're all our chat, our audience. We appreciate you guys being here each and every day that you do join us, even if you're watching it on the replay. Shout out to you all. Shout out to Aventura Trader. Said, caught one of these for the first time yesterday. I really enjoyed it. Now I'm a fan. Great to have you here. Dan Trader, good to see you as well. Let's take a look really quick at the news. As far as planned numbers go, wasn't really much on the calendar. We did have a red book year over year. It came in at 7.6%. Prior was 5.9%. Outside of that, pretty quiet as far as planned numbers goes. We do have some more stuff later in the week. We got an ADP employment change number coming out tomorrow. Industrial production, ISM PMI numbers, S&P services PMI number, crude oil inventories. So a little bit more data later in the week. But we did get some interesting headlines. Amazon is now getting into the chip space, I guess. Everyone's either making chips or AI or both. And that seems like the market right now. So Amazon getting in there, competing with NVIDIA, but at the same time, I think partnering with NVIDIA seems like just passing money around the table. And I'm trying to figure out how we get an invite to that table, Coach Paul.
Yeah, I'd like to get between the bark and the tree in that deal. Just
right.
1%, but I didn't get an email. Did you?
I didn't. So we're relegated to trading the Nasdaq and seeing how we can do there, or the S&P, since those are some of the heaviest weighted companies in the basket of indices that we trade. Anything else you got as far as the news goes, Coach Paul?
Really a slow news day in the market. I think the market reflected it. So
yep.
There's nothing much to add there.
Awesome stuff. So let's get right into the charts. We have 36 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts today. To the downside, we had heating oil down 1.54%, natural gas down 1.87%, and RBOB gasoline futures, our biggest percentage mover, to the downside, down 2.11%. To the upside, we had cattle up 2.14%. I did see some comments from the president today. He said beef prices are coming down now, and they're up 2% today. So maybe tomorrow. But the last time he said, it was safe to buy something, or we saw what happened there with the equities. So we'll see if that reflects in the cattle prices on the charts first, and then in the grocery store second. Micro Bitcoin up 6.82%, and micro Ethereum, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 8.32%. Crypto kind of recovering some of the sell-off move that we had yesterday. Bitcoin and Ethereum were our 2 biggest percentage movers to the downside yesterday. We saw a nice recovery, micro Bitcoin trading back over 90,000. To talk about our big 4, we have crude oil down 1.2%. It's a big 5 now, actually. Crude oil down 1.2%. S&P up 0.2%. Gold down 0.8%. We have natural gas down 1.85%. And the NASDAQ up 0.81% on the day to round out our big 5. I have a NASDAQ chart up here right now. Let's take a look at the daily. Coach Paul, let me know what you are seeing on this daily chart in the NASDAQ.
Well, we're holding that 20. We're holding the 50. Broke that trend line. Christmas rally coming. Looks pretty friendly to me. But slowly we will grind. But I mean, it stood the test. The 20 did cross under the 50, but we're holding both of those yesterday on the lows. I think to me, that looks like we're going to grind back up to all-time highs.
I would agree with you there. I would agree with you there. We're just over 3% off the all-time high in the Nasdaq. Uh, Interesting candle, has been interesting since it printed, but that October 10th candle, we're starting to, use that high maybe as a support. We closed outside of it on, what was that, Thursday, I guess it was. Yesterday we closed outside it as well. We tested into this candle and we're continuing to see buyers step in this zone and push us higher. So we will continue to see a strong market until something changes. 3% again off the all-time high in the Nasdaq here. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we have exactly that. I actually want to pull up the, let's put some top step indicators on the chart here. Actually, I'm just going to put settlement price. Settlement price last night, 25,391, or settlement price yesterday, 25,391. We'll make that not a white line. We'll make it purple. Anything you're seeing here on the 30-minute chart, Coach Paul?
Well, one big candle, that was a sell, and that was a day. But last night we had very much the same as what happened during the day session. But we noticed VWAP did not leave the first half hour's range. Good buying in Europe, but if we look at that, it's almost the same structure. Both sides of the opening, if you're not disciplined, at least in my undisciplined days, you can really get whacked on a day like today.
Yes, you can.
Chasing your tail. But we held those lows out of Europe, and so nothing of urgency. Kind of a tough day to be aggressive. So anything else you see in that?
So from the overnight session, I think the one thing that was interesting, just kind of seeing a market that is holding up, right? Choppy session for the New York session for sure. It was a big range day, 250 points, 255 points high to low for the New York session range. But on a higher time frame, this is a market that's continuing to hold up. The reason I put settlement here is because, similar to what we've done before, identify a level, and in this case, that level was settlement, right? Where the market's green above settlement, red below settlement. We had price advertised lower, but volume never traded below settlement, right? So seeing this rejection in the overnight session for price to accept lower, when we came in for the New York session, kind of had me leaning to the buy side now. It's not just a blind buy, right? Because we can see the New York session was kind of choppy. But again, this market is trying to trade upwards, right? So one of the things Coach Ryan and I talked about this morning was if you're getting short, it's a market that's trying to go higher, just having reasonable expectations. And you could have had a nice short here, right? A 250 point move to the downside. But it's trying to channel higher here. But I do like this kind of settlement volume rejection of settlement of anything lower than settlement here. Let's take a look at the shorter time frame, 30-minute chart here, or sorry, 3-minute chart, New York session open. We got some urgency early on. We pushed up 200 points from that open, and then volume flattened out, and it was just a range day from that point.
And trading both sides of the opening range, and it just tells you there's no urgency. There was some urgency on the opening. Was it a 2-to-1?
Yeah, I think so. But we got it here.
Yeah. On the sell side, I mean, you had to be quick, and it was quick. It was that 1/2 an hour. But look at the slope of VWAP. Just flat.
Yep.
There was in volume just kept going lower. But what's interesting was on the lows we had a what?
Little reversal there. little high volume reversal. We call that the J trade. Shout out to Coach Paul for naming it that. But high volume, once we closed above it, that set the low for the day. Really nice trade from that point. Right at the London session close, 11:30 Eastern time, we see that spike of volume. We had some relatively high volume candles around there, but this one set the low for the New York session, and once we closed above that, completely turned the markets around. Yeah, interesting day for sure. If you were looking for breakout trades on the extremes, there was just not enough directional volume in either direction, and it took. I think it did take a little while to identify that. I know Dakota had a nice short. Shout out to Dakota and Jacob, figuring out how to trade this market this morning during fast markets because it was whippy, right? It looked like it was going to break out. Dakota got into a short. Everyone's like, "Oh, why the hell is this guy shorting up here? It doesn't make any sense." But if you look at a higher time frame, there is some resistance up there, right? So it looks crazy until it works. And then Jacob, looking for that breakout trade, took some early losses and then was able to recover it once the market pulled back and then gave him an opportunity for a long. So difficult markets, but definitely presenting some opportunity. Just required a little bit of patience today. Janish called it out. J trade at the bottom.
Nice call.
Nice call. Anything else we got here on the NASDAQ? We'll do a quick. Yeah, go ahead, coach.
If you put on a volume profile,
From last night.
yeah, let's bring it all the way through the day, and just to reflect. Now put the VWAP. With that kind of structure from last night, I mean, to me, I eliminate the sell side. Why? They're both biased to the buy side. That we're buying dips. Why? That's how the volume came out. Just, and we can see that I don't. Was there a news event at that time, or was this just a flush? I don't know.
It was the Amazon news. Amazon news came out at that point, but there's always going to be something, right? If you
Good point.
Swipe through newspapers, don't ever have blank pages.
No, yeah, but they'll find a reason. But I used to go. We'll tell you where the market has been and why. Now, as traders, we don't get. I mean, we can't make excuses. We always have to deal with uncertainty. So in this case, getting some market information that's market generated, that's internal. That's why I watch both of those. So if that helps you, I know it's helped me. Especially, I just eliminate that. I'm not saying you can't sell, but for me, that's great information about what side I really want to take.
Absolutely. Have you ever heard anyone say that quote before? I might attribute that one to myself. Newspapers don't ever have blank pages. I like that.
Well, I asked my dad once when I was young because I used to watch the news with him, and he'd break it down. I go, "What if there was no news?"
What?
What? What if there was? Well, they'd have to make something up.
Right.
As traders, we don't get that choice. We have to trade in the moment. So with that, understanding that as you mature as a trader is really important. Because we never get the full story. We always have to deal with uncertainty. Internal information that we can garner, whether it's in volume, price action, is much more valuable information than a news headline.
I would agree. Trade the outcome of the news instead of the news itself, because we don't get to determine what that outcome is going to be. We got a question here from JJ. How does one interpret a megaphone pattern? So I think it showed up maybe a little bit more clearly in the S&P. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to change this to regular trading hours only. And You heard the team talking about a megaphone pattern in the equities today, and this can be a difficult pattern to trade because it's technically a range, but it's a broadening range, right? Where it starts off pretty small, extends the high, extends the low, extends the high by a little bit more, extends the low by a little bit more, extends the high by a little more, and then extends the low by a little more, right? So if you're a range trader, where you might be shorting up here, right, shorting the high of the range, and then it extends. We don't know what that extension is going to be, right? So, depending on where your stop is, you could get stopped out here, right? And this is a from the high of this range. It's not a huge extension in the S&P, but it's a 3.5 points. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. Hold on, take that magnet off. Yeah, 3-point extension from the high up here, right? So if you're trading with tight stops, you probably get stopped out before it falls back into the range. Now I'm buying the low of the range, and it extends it by another 6 points. If I trade with tight stop, I'm getting stopped out. Another attempt at the high of the range, 5 points extension to the upside. So it can, and Ovi just said it, right? We traded in that megaphone all day. So, if you're a range trader, I think one of the things we talk about, Coach Paul, is a 2 ATR stop. Let's say I did
Mhm.
get short at the high of this range. Let's say I identified this as the potential high of the range, right? We had volume really not giving us a direction. And I get short here with a 2 ATR stop. This is a 3-minute chart, 12 points in the S&P. I don't get a 2-to-1, but I get pretty close to it, right? Get 1.75 to 1 with a reasonable stop. So I think that's just another example of that 2 ATR stop really being a valuable place to define your risk. If 12 points in the S&P sounds like a lot, you have the option of trading smaller size, right? You don't have to be trading the minis; you could be trading micros. But the megaphone is kind of just, I call it the take everybody's money pattern. Uh,
Well, it's interesting. What is that tool? If you put on the trend line, it gives you the degree of the yeah, can you change it? It says what, 30, 39
39.
or
Yeah, yeah.
try to put that at a 45-degree angle.
Okay. There you
I'm gonna
go.
use my GAN. So and use both of them as a 45. And wow. That looks like a Dorito to me, but
Yeah.
if you're a GAN fan, 45-degree angles are really important. And we don't, on the top, we lost it early. Um, but I don't trade them. But I will tell you this, no matter what it is, today is a day I said it earlier, you can, if you're not disciplined, you get whipsawed. So if you're not tight with your money management of your account, that means you have, if you have to cut it off, whether it's 200 or $500 losing, and you need to stop. If you can't do that, today is a day where you could drop your account.
Yep.
Because it's all right to lose. It's going to happen. It's
Yes, it
not all
is.
right to
There's no
lose
way to avoid
poorly.
it. No way
I
to
don't
avoid
know.
it.
If you can,
Let me know. I'm looking at this. Feel like I'm looking at a kaleidoscope. Let me stop playing around with this thing. All right.
I, beginning of the year, I'll do a week of GAN.
Okay. There you
I have
go.
to figure out that tool.
Right. Missed the biggest drop because my time was up. Hey, Mark. Sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes if you weren't at your charts, did the trade happen? If you give yourself an allotted time slot to trade in, and you don't get the setup, then it wasn't your trade, right? So it is very easy to be like, oh man, I missed this trade. I missed this trade. My trading mentor used to say it all the time. If you think about all the trades that you missed throughout the day, you're gonna drive yourself crazy because there's a ton of them. But I think that's what we got on the equities. Oh, question here from JJ again. How do you find the ATR on the daily? What's the best way to do it? Just use a ATR tool. You can see this indicator I have on the bottom of my charts. I don't really care about the line. I care more about the value. You can see when I hover over these candles, I'm on a 3-minute chart right now. So it's showing you the 3-minute ATR right up there,
There you
right
got
there,
it.
right there. Uh, so that's showing you the ATR. But now if I switch this to a daily chart, it's going to be, the time frame that I'm looking at. So now the daily ATR is 89 points. So that'll change from there.
That's come off a lot since last week.
As it has that quiet holiday week really brought the ranges down. Actually, did it? We still had some decent
Yeah.
ranges.
Well, because it takes in those tiny ranges in the
Right.
calculation.
These little things here. Yeah.
Plus, we're going sideways.
We are going sideways for sure. The S&P, a little closer to all-time highs, about 1.5% off the all-time high in the S&P. Let's see which one does it first. Take a quick look at the Rusty. Looks like it's ready
It's a
to fall
different
right back
story.
into the look. Yeah, it looks like it's ready to fall right back into the range.
Yeah, it was weak from the opening. We can see that from the 3-minute or 5-minute, there was selling. There was urgency on the sell side. Now it didn't follow through much,
It did hold
but
though. Not a lot, not
it
as
did
much back
hold.
and forth. Yeah.
Um, we're back, which to me is kind of bullish for Nasdaq. They're
Yeah.
having the rotation back into risk,
Yeah.
but
Agreed.
it was a different market, hands down.
And a look at the Dow. The Dow was kind of a mix of everything today. Uh, just chop you up, take all your money. Uh, but that is what we have on the equities. Ovi asks, is the ATR is the range up and down from the open, correct? So the ATR is the average range on the time frame that you're looking at, right? So yeah, go ahead, Coach Paul. You were going to say something.
Remember, it's the last 14 candles or bars, so it stays pretty current.
Mhm.
So if you're in the half hour, it's 7 hours ago. If you're in the 3-minute, it's about an hour ago. It's dynamic. It stays updated. Now, they got there's been tests of longer term ATRs, and I've done my research and it went back to 14. Well, Wells Wilder, who developed this and the RSI and many others, he's like the godfather of technical analysis. He came to the conclusion that 14 was the most efficient. So
I think it makes sense.
that little 14 next to ATRs is the period. You can adjust that. Uh, I had it as a longer one. You can play with it if you like, but the idea is to keep it current because you want to know what volatility you're in now. So the traditional and the one I found, I did my back testing, is 14 is pretty good.
There you go. All right, let's move over to the metals. We'll go gold and then silver. A lot of silver traders now, Coach Paul. A lot of
Yeah.
silver traders. It's moving. It is moving. Let's take a look at gold first. The OG of the metals, and I missed you yesterday.
I missed you. I'm glad
Man,
to be back. So what do we have? 50, that's 50%.
yeah,
We keep bucking against it. I'm so tempted to just go long and let it go.
yeah,
No.
no,
Just
yeah,
learn my lesson. This can look as great as it can, and we can stay locked. Oh, geez. I'm getting triggered looking at that. But I did learn from that.
Yeah.
And we know gold does this. Um, but and today was a testament to it.
Hmm.
So until we can close above that, I'm cautious about trading gold. But overall, it's still in an uptrend. Um, buy the dips is probably the play. Trend lines holding. I mean, is this just a stop on the way to 5,000?
Right.
Maybe. Oh, I like that line chart. That's just so much on trends. It's so much easier to read. Um, but until it gets above that 50% and closes there, I'm neutral.
Yeah.
Anything you see that I'm not seeing?
No, it's kind of stuck in gear. I'm reminded of, earlier this year, the middle of the year, where it's still presenting trade opportunities, right? Talking about the daily ATR, it did get over $100 at one point when we saw that crazy volatility, but we're still seeing an $82 high to low range in gold, which is, outside of this crazy volatility, still some of the highest we saw all year, right? So it is presenting opportunity. It's just that that opportunity is not super directional on a higher time frame, right? So identifying where the extremes are in this range are extremely important. Uh, let's take a look at last night. Uh, there was some interesting stuff going on last night, Coach Paul.
There was some urgency.
Yes, there was. There was some urgency for sure. Uh, some interesting things going on here. Here's the first 30-minute from last night. There's that VWAP. The urgency that we're talking about, if you're a new viewer, when Coach Paul and I say urgency, what we're looking at is a defined range, and urgency is relative to the time frame that you're looking at. In this case, with the overnight session, we're looking at a 30-minute chart. First 30-minute candle from the Globex open, we close outside of that range. Volume is also in before this crazy candle here, which Coach Paul, I got short yesterday. Slow markets last night. Got short one micro, was looking to build into three. By the time I looked up to click the button again, we were down $30. Uh,
Did you
and
grab your money then?
I took my money and I ran. And there was some of our traders, some of our old trader friends that we know were a part of that sell off there. So if you don't believe that volume moves the market, check out my guy selling rips on Twitter, who was market ordered short 100 contracts in gold last night, and triggered a little velocity event potentially with his size. And there was another seller. There was another seller that came in right before him. Really interesting stuff as a tape reading nerd. Uh, seeing some of that stuff happen.
So what time was that the Shanghai Open?
So right after 8:09 Eastern time. We'll take a look at a 1 minute chart here. Where is it? Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
There it is. So pretty big selling. That's a 1 minute candle. 2,200 contracts traded in a minute. And one of the things I saw, people saying and commenting on is, hey, that's no one person with 100 lot could do that because 2,200 contracts traded in that minute. Coach Paul, what might have been sitting under this price right here?
Stops.
And that's what gets triggered here. Stops, and again, there was also another market participant who sold some size in this 1 minute candle here. So you got two big players. Think about this. Rips had 100 lot, right? And whoever else this person was had, I think, about 200 contracts. It's 300 contracts that need to get traded between two big market participants in a low liquidity environment where the average volume on a 1 minute candle at that time is 228 contracts in a 1 minute period. Now you have two big market participants, maybe even more, but two we know for sure because I saw the seller here and then we know who the other seller was. When somebody's trading that much size and there isn't another market participant willing to buy it, again, look at all of these 1 minute candles. There aren't very many that are above 300 contracts, and now we know we have two people in a short that want to make money on it. When somebody market orders sells and there's no one willing to buy, that's when you get a $35 move in a minute. Uh, Anything you want to add to that, Coach Paul?
Well, I mean, first of all, we saw urgency after the first half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had continuation of selling into Shanghai Open. So there's an imbalance of selling. I mean, that's a 1 minute chart, right? Even if we look at a 5 minute chart, we're going to see VWAP trending down. But once that hit, what level was that? 40?
Oh, we know exactly what level that was. Pretty damn close to that white line. Pretty close to that white line.
But what triggered it? It could have been liquidation. Could have been. I don't think it would be resting stops. But hey,
right.
It does. Does it matter?
Nope.
It already was set. The market could not handle much more selling, and that's when we get that big spike down to value of the 200 moving average, which at that point, that candle was the
range for the rest of the day
until it closed. New York closed.
Yeah, we on a 30-minute. Yeah, go ahead, Coach Paul.
Yeah, it held the 200. Then we got on the close, the New York close, we got under it again. But by that time of the day, I just wait. I don't like trading gold afternoon in the U.S. time frame. But there was a nice urgency trade to the downside. And that was great job by Rips. 100 lot big gold.
Yeah. Pretty big trade.
That's 1,000 micros.
He posted about it on Twitter. It was a tough trade to get out, right? And that is just the reality of trading live markets. You got to find, if you're willing to buy them back, you got to find somebody willing to sell it to you. And we've seen this now twice in the last 2 weeks. A candle in gold where the market kind of halts for a couple of seconds, where it's trying to figure out what just happened. And again, is it solely one person triggering that move? It could be. It very well could be. Depends on the size that person wants to trade. But again, I saw two sellers on the tape. We know one of them. And really nice trade there. Really nice trade. Volume moves the market. And again, that's ended up being the range for the rest of the day. So that's not a coincidence.
Couldn't even close above it for a J trade.
Not a coincidence.
It'll be an interesting trade tonight.
Yes, it will be. Level. Yes, it will be. We did get a little bit of a J trade on the 30-minute here. Highest volume of the day once we closed above it. And we push up from there. JD, what are you laughing at in the chat? What am I, a funny guy? Like a clown?
How do I make you laugh?
Do I make you laugh? Great movie. All right. Silver. Let's take a look at silver. What are you seeing on the daily in silver here, Coach Paul?
Very bullish chart. We talked about a month ago. Silver is leading now. And we see it in today's action. These are all-time highs. Were we right there? We hit them yesterday.
We hit them yesterday. We're like a couple ticks off today. I'm really curious to see what happens. I might have to have this up on my charts tomorrow. I'm trying to narrow my focus, but coming up to the $60 level could be interesting. See what size is up there.
And look at it's a higher highs. We see higher lows, higher highs. Yeah, that's a very friendly chart, completely different. Well, not completely, but different from gold. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the buying is concentrated in silver. The silver gold ratio, I'm not going to go into. There's plenty. It's been I think the pharaohs in Egypt traded the gold silver ratio.
Yeah.
It looks like that is about to catch up. Um, which hard to say. Silver at $60,
Yeah.
but very friendly chart.
Very friendly. Continuing to rally. Silver up 0.5% on the day. That doesn't sound right. Something sounds off about that. That might be from today's settlement. Actually, no, yeah,
No,
that's
maybe
not.
not.
Is that can't be right? It could be. Silver settles and then continues to trade. So maybe. Yeah, a lot of this. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart.
That's gold.
This is definitely gold. That's silver. Yeah, I mean, it's saying silver was flat on the day.
Yeah, because where
I
it's
guess
it's settled
where
at
it
the
settles
highs.
earlier. Right. Yeah, settled up
But
here. You're right.
yeah. Now last night we did have some urgency. Probably gold took it,
That's what it looked like.
but wow, look at that looks really friendly. I
Yeah.
just we had that urgency. There was even on the sell side, which I wouldn't have taken. I'm not trading silver, but if you take it, you got a 2-to-1. But what happened here? VWAP went flat.
Yep.
I mean, you couldn't be more flat. Right back to settlement. But we got a J trade. No, it wasn't a complete J trade. It didn't make new lows, but God, it looks like the Nasdaq or the S&P.
Yeah, it
That
looks almost
break
exactly
later
the
in the
same.
day, it almost
This
looks
one
like the
here.
same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it
But
does. Same
silver
time
is
too.
very buoyant. But I'm not selling it.
No,
Can you very friendly.
agreed. We'll see what happens at $60. We are about 1.5% off of $60 in silver. We've seen some pretty big moves. Whatever this was last, when was this? This was Friday. 6% move to the upside. There was some speculation about that being the reason we saw that the halt of everything, the silver rally. But I'll take my tinfoil hat off. Anything else you
Okay.
got on the metals, Coach Paul?
Well, you know what's interesting is silver's doing that in take a look at platinum.
That looks like gold.
Yeah, it's a silver. Silver is the king of the metals.
Yeah, it
Platinum
is
was
right now.
actually down hard today. Well, not hard, but down.
1.5%.
Yeah. So it's definitely a silver focused metals market. Um, I don't know how many shorts are in silver, but if I put my tin hat back on, I'm not going to. But there's always been rumors from my cash silver guys that banks are short silver that can't cover. It's going to end up being multiples of what it is now. Um, Now, the spread action tells me that could be true, but what good does that do us as a day trader?
Right.
Um,
Maybe you don't get
I,
short,
I
but
I can go. I can do this. Okay, if it's true, then I could find a place to buy it with good risk. But I just noticed that I want to see that platinum is not partaking the way silver is.
interesting stuff going on here. We are going to go over to the energies. Crude oil, this could be a quick one. And we got a question from Juice Trading. Let's get to this question first and we'll come back to the markets. How do you guys deal with overtrading? Not just quote unquote follow your trading plan, but I mean, how do you stop and form better habits around it? Coach Paul, you want to take that one or you want me to go first? How do you stop yourself from overtrading? How do
I'm
you
going to
deal with
make a real
overtrading?
simple comment on this because I
Yeah.
had to do this.
Yeah.
if you had that's a continuous trouble for you,
Mhm.
you have to get out of trying to make money. I'm going to go right back to Tom Hugard. You have to learn the lessons of the best loser wins. Because in the equation, it's not just trying to make money every day, it's to lose well. So the way I had to do it is whatever my equity is, I won't drop more than 10% of it on any single day. So if your equity's at 10,000, that's a $1,000 cutoff. And you can't, I mean, that's the bottom line. If you can't do it, it's going to be really hard to be successful over time. It's the key. It's the bridge to success. It's the difference between gambling and trading or speculating.
Yeah.
I can't. It's not. Yeah. By the way, you are not following a trading plan if you're blowing out more than 20% of your account a day. It, it I, I went through that phase. I'm just never going to do it again because you can. The idea is to survive. Our front of our mind is oh man, if I could catch this, I can make $15,000 today. And you in your balance, let's say it was 10,000. Well, you're not limiting losses because why? If you really think you're going to make $15,000 and risk 10,000, do some math. Think in percentages. Don't think in dollars. So, right, bottom line is you have to have a reasonable daily loss limit, and 50% is not it. And I hand it off to you.
Uh, Jack, we'll take care of that for you. No problem, my friend. You can never speak on this channel again. Thanks. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you all being here. Don't say stupid shit in the chat. But for juice trading, I 100% agree with Coach Paul just said. Uh, from a practical perspective, give yourself something better to do. Right? Give yourself something better to do. The markets are open 23 hours a day, and a lot of traders say that they trade for time freedom, freedom to move around, and then we don't actually plan what that freedom looks like, right? And we sit here and try to make money 23 hours of the day. If you can put up some profits early, schedule what the rest of your day looks like, whether you're working on another project, maybe working another job, just having a dog go outside. You said playing Pokemon Go. Do something else with your time, uh, and it could literally be more valuable because every time we look at the charts, our brains just kind of are conditioned to think that every time I sit at the chart is an opportunity to make money, but we completely ignore the fact that it's an opportunity to lose money as well. So identify when you trade your best, when you're trading your best, and when you're in a mental capacity to actually execute on that plan. And then when you're not, the charts should not exist, right? They don't exist. Because again, if they're always constantly in the back of your mind, um, you know, the more decisions you make, the higher likelihood that the quality of some of those decisions are just going to be shitty. Uh, so limit your exposure, and go have fun. Go do something else. This is just a job.
Hey, it's a question. Is that someone asked? Is that 10% of current equity? Yes. Here's another thing that does. Let's say you're on a run, right? And you're up. Let's say you had on this run, you're up $2,000. Well, you can keep your winnings by cutting. Cut your losses, let your winners ride. Yeah, it's about your equity at the end of the day. You want it. It's a great question, but yes, that's it.
Awesome stuff. There we go, Coach Paul. All right, let's take a look at crude oil on the daily. Anything you're seeing here in crude, Coach Paul?
It's
It's a range.
that hasn't changed since last week when I was on.
No.
But is there opportunity in there? It's still showing a negative bias. We're under the 200. The moving averages are all under it. It's, but limited. It's a market that's in balance. Nothing much else to say on that daily. That's why I'm not trading it, by the way.
I think the last crude trader we ever had at Topstep, JD in the chat says I gave up on it, and that means something because JD was holding on tight, trying to trade crude oil. I don't know if our friend Flix is in the chat, but Flix every morning says, "Hey, I think crude can break down," and I'm hoping you get one, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. And if it does, it's like a surprise trade, right? It's like, oh wow, look at crude, it's down 2%. Who expected that to happen? It happens in 15 minutes and then we're right back to ranging. But if you're a range trader, maybe this is where you want to be, buying it at the highs, selling it at the lows. We talked about this during the opening call this morning, but buying it somewhere down here in the lower 58s would have been a good trade. You did get a dollar move, right? Buying it off the lows of this range. It's just it's a difficult market to trade right now.
Now, if we look at it from last night, it was another
Completely
tiny
different.
range,
Right. Looked like gold.
but and we did have it leave. This is why it's hard, but there was a little bit of risk. Now, one thing I will tell you, trading crude, you can manage your risk pretty easily if you're disciplined. Let's say you went and bought it. I think you lose $100 if you put your stop underneath the opening half hour. And by the way, it doesn't settle outside of that range, but and once again, looking at it from the daily, yeah, we broke out of that opening range to the downside VWAP range, but still patience. This market requires patience. There was a nice opportunity there, but do you have the patience? I mean, I've done this a long time. The more patience I accrue, the better I trade. Two things happen. I trade less.
Yeah.
When you trade less, you risk less. The more you trade, it's the more you risk. It's so if you were patient looking for the sell side, you got the sell and decent trade. On the buy side, I don't know. I'm not that good. Do you see anything on the buy side?
Lows of the range when we were down here earlier, right around these 58.50s. But if I'm going to trade this, I got to go trade the extremes of the range, wide stop, and then just let it work and be ready to take off at the other side of it, right? If I'm getting long down here and I'm looking for a $2 move in crude oil, my expectations are just way bigger than what the market is willing to present, right? I think we have $1.40 daily ATR. So if you can fit your expectations into what this market is doing, there is some opportunity here. It's just, yeah, it's a tough one for me. Tough one for me. Let's take a look at natural gas really quick on the daily. Time we still got time. What are you seeing here in natural gas?
Yeah, we're on, what was that? Friday we closed above the 200. We're holding that. Still would like to buy a dip off that 200. It's not really in urgent state, but still building, going higher. Had a little correction today, but starting to build the case for a longer term buy.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Nice pullback today that we saw. Natural gas was down almost 2% on the day today. Nice pullback, but I think that's healthy. We did see on the holiday day, this was Friday, a pretty decent rally on low volume. So I'm not surprised at a little bit of a retracement of that. But yesterday we held about 50%, maybe a little retest, like Coach Paul just said, of that 200 moving average, and then go from there. We don't need to talk too much about the shorter time frame. I think this is well, that white line down there. Yeah, that kind of lines up with that 200-day moving average as well. That's the 30-minute. So
Yeah.
keep an eye on natural gas. All right. We went through a bunch of markets. Anything else, Coach Paul, that you want to talk about today?
Bitcoin.
Let's do it. Bitcoin on a daily to start. What are you seeing here?
Um, nice, starting to form a little bottom. We have a J trade
On the daily.
on the daily. The puke on the bottom. We tested the 50% yesterday. We've held it. To me, technically now, we'll test that 20. But with that J trade, I'm starting to get friendly to it.
We've seen this before.
We've seen, yes, we have at this level. And then there was some pretty bullish news on XRP coin. The banks are starting to use that for settlement purposes. And that came out. I saw that headline on LinkedIn from a guy named John Hull.
Okay.
John Hull is one of the greatest traders. Started at the SIBO, Chicago Board Options Exchange. I respect him immensely. And he's been on XRP. But the banking industry is starting to adopt XRP for Swift payments. I can't go into the details, but it was pretty bullish news. And we're starting to see it come out in the other crypto contracts like Bitcoin and XRP exploded today. But with all that, we have a J trade. We tested 50% of that J trade. We're holding. We're going sideways here. We're finding some balance. Last thing I would look at is a trend line from that last high. Oh, wow. Look at you.
Are you talking about this one from the all-time high?
Yep. Well, no, that one. You just.
Whoa.
Hold
on. Hold on.
Yeah, that one right there.
This one?
No, the one before it.
This one.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is that leg. Let's watch that trend line.
All right, I'm going to leave that on there. Chat, does anyone know how I lock just this drawing? Oh, there you go. Locked. There you go. We got it.
All right.
We're leaving it on there.
We're leaving it on.
Didn't do it. There's a way to lock these things. I don't know how to do it. Someone knows. Got to join Coach Robert's classes. Coach Robert does these classes in Discord where he teaches you how to use TopstepX. I think I need to join one of those and ask how I.
Yeah, so do I. I saw that today. It was too late.
Yeah. Got to join one of those.
He's the guy.
He definitely is. All right. I think we did it. Unless we have any other questions in the chat. Just make sure we went through everything. Oh, someone had asked earlier with the ATR indicator, how do you get the value to show up? So with your indicator list, this little drop down, this show indicator legend, if it's consolidated, if that menu is collapsed, it won't show the value. But if you expand that menu, then it does show the numbers. So just make sure that menu is expanded. Sometimes I collapse it because I'll have a couple different things on this list. And I try to keep it pretty clean, but having 6 things on your indicator list kind of covers the charts. But all right. Anything else, Coach Paul, you want to get to, or want to take us out of here? Anything else you got to say before we go?
Japanese yen. We haven't talked
Japanese
about.
yen on a daily.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, what's the trend line? Well, we're lower, right?
Yep. It's the 20
We're
moving average.
the 20 moving average has been resistance. We are right by it. I'm looking for a place to sell it. This is a nice trend. And why am I looking for a place to sell? I think this trend can continue. I'm not making any guarantees, but it gives me a place to take good risk. So we look at the half hour. What's that white line? So
200 moving average on the half an hour chart. Got some urgency here last night as well. There was some
yeah,
news out of Japan yesterday. I can't remember exactly what that news was, but whatever it was bearish. The
so
market
now
responded negatively. We'll say that.
VWAP did not close below the 200. Now remember, on that daily, we're testing that 20. We've had this pretty decent rally, and it's failing.
Right.
So is that short covering? I don't know what it is. It's buying. I mean, the short covering, or it'd be better if it was new longs, because they would exit with urgency. All I know is there's going to be a good opportunity to take good risk on a sell side. If it doesn't close below the 200, okay, I didn't. But it's at an apex, so my eye is on the end tonight.
There we go. Courtney asked the question: are we about to have another carry trade freakout?
Well, that's always there. That's a good question.
Yeah. That was, when was that? That was
Oh, last year,
2024, mid
yeah,
October.
there it was. Back.
Where was it? Yeah, here you go.
That was
Here
the
you
end
go.
of it right there.
That was the end of it. Yep.
Ooh, let's look at that level, because we had intervention twice at that. We're on that level.
We're below it. Well below
Yep.
it.
So that's one. That's on my list. Things to watch tonight.
Good stuff. Mo says the news last night was Japan indicating a rise to their interest rates. There you go.
Oh yeah, and that goes to that carry trade, because these are the highs on their JGB, Japanese government bonds, are at close to record highs. The carry trade is they have a huge deficit that has to be financed. So yeah, it goes back to carry trade. It's not going to be cheap anymore.
Right.
So let's keep an eye on it. It's another thing that could spark other trades. But we're right there. To me, in day trading. I'm keeping my eye on that for a short, but I'm not going to lose more than I can afford.
There you go.
All right. Someone asked, is the Swiss doing anything?
Holding the
Good
200-day
question.
moving average.
Huh?
Holding the 200-day moving average right
Yeah,
now.
there you go.
That's what the Swiss is doing right now. I think that's it. Good show, Coach Paul. Good show. Good to have you back. Anything you want to say before we head out for the day?
Plan your trade your plan, but in that plan is preserving capital. It starts with your equity balance. That's what you're trading. That's your bankroll. Trade well. We'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. We have coaches doing classes. Coach Robert is doing 2 classes now. He does one Tuesdays and Thursdays and another one, I think Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, but at 2 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then 5 p.m. Eastern time. We got Coach Hoop doing a class 6 p.m. Eastern time. Ray and Vince 7 and 8. Dakota with slow markets tonight. Baron's going to be joining him. And then we have Aaron with the London trade 2:30 Eastern. D with the Euro trade 4:30. And then we'll be back for the opening call tomorrow, 8:15 Eastern time. Thank you everyone for joining us as always. We appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button. Continue to trade well, manage your risk. Trading is hard enough. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. And that has everything to do with yourself and nothing to do with what's happening on the charts. Manage yourself, manage your accounts, manage your trades, and we will see you all tomorrow. Also, do something fun off the charts every day. Do something fun off the charts, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.